Student number 150070, name Ivana Fredman. Okay, so my game is The Hunted or Fox Hunt. I haven't quite finalized the name just yet. And the synopsis of the game is to protect your pups at all costs. So the concept of the game pretty much revolves around the idea of a fox hunt, where it traditionally involves hunting and tracking and chasing of a fox, where they send out hounds and bloodhounds to find and scent the fox. But instead of you hunting the fox, this is where the horror aspect comes in, and you are the fox, and you are the one being hunted, and you've got to protect your pups by hiding them, and then eventually getting captured, and then try and escape. Okay, the genre of the game is a horror survival game, and the target audience I would like to be around mid-teen into adulthood due to the horror aspect of the game and the fact that it probably wouldn't be best if a child had to play this game, so I'd have to add an age restriction of around 13, just to know that viewer discretion is advised. So the flow of the game is scene-based, where each scene is set up through leading events. So the first event is realizing that the hunt is happening and having to hide your pups, and the next scene is being captured and escaping the compound, and the next scene is finding your pups and securing their survival, and the scene after that is making sure that you get to the safe national reserve. The look and feel of the game is an isometric grayscale game, which will affect the mood of the game, where the theme will be dark, and due to the fact that it's only grayscale, the shadows would be a key part of hunting and the survival and hiding within the shadows. Another thing that will be important is the fact that enemies would be red, so through your sonar you can see and scent the enemies. So the gameplay is very similar to the gameplay in Shelter, which is a game based on being a mother looking after your pups and ensuring their survival. The only problem I have with this game is the movement of the animal is very clunky and rigid and isn't fluid enough, and through my 2 years of being at the Open Window, I've studied a lot of animal movement, and I hope to show my knowledge of animal movement into my game and making it look a lot more fluid and realistic through this. So as you can see, you are the mother in the game, and you have to ensure your pup's survival, but not as the aspect of where you hunt, in the aspect of you have to hide and make sure that your pups are safe. This is a good idea of what the fox will look like. An isometric grayscale fox, and the pups would just be small versions of that with different markings, and each pup has a different personality. So one pup will be the pup that's the mama's boy, so called. He follows very closely to you, and another pup would be their explorer, where he goes off and he does his own thing, and it's very difficult to find him when you hide him because he often hides in different spots. And another pup will be the loner pup, and he's always right at the back of the group, and often he can be detected by bloodhounds as he's so far back and is not hidden behind cover. So the behavior of each pup is like a very important part of the game, because without each behavior, the pups are very static and it becomes very repetitive in the hiding process and finding process. The environment of the game is a dark forest, similar to in Slender, with lots of trees and lots of logs and rocks to hide behind, and the look of the isometric trees and isometric rocks. As I said before, the mission and challenge structure is based in scenes, so it goes 1 scene, 2 scene, 3 scene, 4 scene, 5 scenes, and each scene's difficulty is dependent on whether or not you've hidden all your pups, and if not, the difficulty increases on the number of pups you have. So if you have one pup when you're captured, it becomes more difficult to secure your pups and your survival, as you've got to hide your pup as well as yourself when escaping the compound. The puzzle structure will differ depending on how many pups you hide, and the difficulty of the puzzle thus changes. The main objective of the game, or the end goal so to speak, is to get you and your pups to the safe natural sanctuary with as little casualties as possible. So similar to Slender Man, when in the game you pick up notes, this you pick up pups pretty much. So by the end of the game, if you do not have all pups, you do not, like there will be an achievement based. If you do not have all pups within the time zone, you have to restart, and the end goal is to get as little casualties as possible and obviously have all of your 4 pups. The physics in the game are translated in real life, where the animal's instincts and movements and general behaviors are going to be translated into the game, and the movement and flow of the pups is very important. As you can see here, a study of animal movement. The movement of the game and the general behaviors and aspects of the characters, the animals, is very important, because a lot of games I've noticed through referencing and studying, every animal I've seen has been clunky and rigid, and there's been no fluid movement. And in this game, I'd really like for the animals' movement to be as realistic as possible. Objects in the game would be the assets in the environment, such as trees, bushes, tall grass, rocks, and fallen logs. The player can interact with these objects by hiding behind them, and they must hide behind them or use the shadows to ensure their survival. The actions of the game include running, walking, crouching, and sneaking are basic movements, and other actions include howl, which is a fox call in order to call your pups, which activates a sonar, and the sonar bounces between objects and bounces to you, telling you where your pups are. The problem with the sonar is, if used too many times, the enemy can tell where your pups are and where you are. Another thing is you can use a different call to distract the enemies and get the attention off your pups onto you. There's no combat in the game, obviously, because it is a stealth horror game. The economy, I want to sell this on Steam, and there will be a set price between $15 and $20 depending on my end product and the length of the game, and there will be a once-off payment. Replaying and saving the game. So, as in most horror games, if you die, and you restart from the beginning. The only thing in my horror game is I want to have a replaying aspect where at every scene it auto-saves, so you can go back to that scene instead of having to restart the whole game. Another thing is there's no cheats in the game. However, I really would like some Easter eggs and having some dedication to other games and like subjects, and a very big pivotal part of the idea for my game came from the Fox and the Hound. And my target hardware would be developed on PC and hopefully later adapted to console. And here is my prototype. The whole point of my prototype was to test the movement of the camera and the walking process and how your pups follow. With the fade in and the movement of the camera where it slowly pans and follows the character. And the pups, when you stop, stop. And when you go, they follow. When you stop, they come as close as possible and stop. This is going to be a very important aspect of the game, because without it, your pups would be found. So yeah, that's it.